Hey guys, Lewis here, and in today's video I'm going to show you, I'm going to talk about learning French using Netflix. And I'm coming to this video with the perspective of a native French speaker, and I've also learned multiple languages including English to a point that I would consider pretty decent, Japanese as well. And I've done this in part using Netflix, and I see a lot of people actually using Netflix for language learning, but in my opinion the methods that they use are not very effective, and they're wasting a bunch of time. So let me compare the two methods. Essentially what most people do is they install something like an extension on Chrome, like language learning with Netflix, which I'm going to reload the page so you can see the demo video. But essentially what it does is that it just you go on Netflix and you pause, and you can just hover over the subtitles and get the translation of the French subtitles in English. And people expect that they're going to learn French just by hovering over the subtitles, just like that. But there are big problems with this method, which is that essentially, if you hover over a word, well, if that word appears multiple times, if it's a very common word, then no problem, but most words are not going to be like that, and so you don't get enough repetition, enough opportunities to meet that word in order to really be able to learn it. So compare this with my method, which is I'm going to show you the exact setup in a few moments, but essentially we're going to go on a movie or whatever TV show on Netflix, and here I have Catch Me If You Can, and because I live in French Polynesia, I can actually watch it in French. But I guess if you're living in the US or any other country where French is not the primary language, you're not going to get that. I'm going to show you how you can get that a little bit later, but let me show you the final result first. The final result is this. And here I'm using Anki, which is a flashcard system, and so we're going to be creating flashcards, and here it's one flashcard, and as you can see there's a sentence in French. It's not formatted super well, but I can read it here. Les clés d'une Cadillac de ville 1965 décapotable. And that actually comes from this scene here. And so what I've done is that I've created a flashcard, and let me click on show answer to show you how wonderful this is.
Ce sont les clés d'une Cadillac de ville 1964 décapotable.
Okay, so as you can see, the extension, my whole setup, what it did was actually it took a screenshot at that moment in time in Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio. Here you have the screenshot, pretty clean, and you have the sentence in French, and you have the sentence in English here in your native language. You could choose something else if you wanted to, and you have the audio here, which I can replay. So this method is very, very effective because we're creating flashcards using Anki, which is a piece of software. Anki means to memorize in Japanese, and it's made specifically for long-term memorization of information. And so this is why it's going to be a lot more effective than just hovering over subtitle files. The second thing I'm going to show you as well is how you can actually take entire movies like this, for example, and just export the audio, in French, of course, and just export the audio and put it on your smartphone and just listen to it when you're driving, when you're working out, and whatever. So you can get that immersion in French and get some extra hours of just listening to French and improving your listening. All right, so let's get this started. So the first step, as you can see here, I have this weird extension that you will need to install. So I'm going to put a link in the description of this video. It's called Migaku, and it's a website. You're just click on the link, go to Migaku, and create a free account. You're going to get a 7-day free trial for Migaku, and after that it's only going to be $5 a month. I mean, come on, it's really cheap. That's what I'm paying, and $5 a month is really a bargain. Now, once you've created a free account, there's also, something that I can show you how to do, but I cannot really recommend that you do this because it goes against the terms of use of Netflix. So, I'm just saying that if I were to do this, that's how I would do this, but I would never do this because it goes against the terms of use of Netflix. If you want to watch American movies, like for example, Catch Me If You Can, but you want to watch them in French because, let's face it, there's not a lot of like French movies and French TV shows on Netflix. There's not a ton of them, and the ones that are on there are not always super interesting. What you can do is that you can install a piece of software called a VPN, and that is going to allow you to access Netflix as if you were accessing it from France. And so you're going to be able to, just like me, watch a bunch of movies, American movies, in French. So do not do this again. I'm just saying that if I were to do this, that's how I would do it, but it goes against the terms of use of Netflix. But if you want to do it, nevertheless, just for information, just for educational purposes, I've put a link in the description to a reliable VPN. All right, so now that you have not done this again, because I'm not recommending that you do this, I'm going to go back on Netflix. I already have the extension installed, the Migaku extension. You have created the account, and actually you need to install the extension here. So you just go on Google and type Chrome extension Migaku. And the first link here is going to lead you to the install page for the extension. Just click install. It's going to tell you to set up a bunch of stuff. Just accept the default settings. And when you go back on Netflix and you reload the page, you should see this little thing here floating at the top. When you click on it, you're not going to be able to actually see everything I see here. You should click on the little icon here, the extension icon. By the way, if you don't have it pinned, then you can just click here, look for Migaku, and let me see, Migaku. There you go. I already have it pinned, but here I can unpin it, pin it back, and there you go. Okay, now that I have it pinned, I'm going to click on it, and you're probably going to see a login thing. You need to put in your your ID and your password, and then just reload the page so that it takes it into account, and you're going to be able to see that floating icon. Click on it once you're on Netflix, and you can click on browser here. It's going to close mine, but yours is going to open just like that, and then you're going to be able to see all of the subtitles in the sidebar. Now what I'm going to do, and this is a crucial step, just choose the languages that you want to learn. Oh, by the way, I skipped over something. But when you log in to the Migaku extension, it's going to lead you to some page like this. It's going to tell you to set up Migaku for whatever language that you're learning. So French in your case, just click French. Go through the whole setup. It's going to take, probably just 5 to 10 minutes or something like that. It's going to download things. Just accept the default settings, and everything should be fine. Now that you have accepted the default settings, again, Migaku is not like a super polished application. So you may need to reload Netflix, and then, open the browser. I have it already here, and choose the language that you want to learn. So here, choose French. It's already chosen, for me. And native, choose your native language. So I'm just going to choose English here. Okay, now we're almost done. There is one more thing that we need to set up. It's Anki. So, once again, Anki, it's this app here. I'm going to go on the home page here, and I have a bunch of decks where I have a bunch of flashcards about stuff that I want to learn. I'm going to show you very, very quickly how to install it. It's very easy, and I'm sure that a lot of you already have it installed. Just be patient. I'm going to show you how to very, very quickly install it for people who don't know. So go on the internet and type Anki, and it's going to be the first link, and just click on download, and you can just Okay, that's my extension. I don't need it. You can just download Anki for whatever operating system that you're using. So here I would download this version here. Download Anki for Windows. If you're on Mac, go here, download for Mac, depending on your version of Mac OS, and Linux here. You can also install Anki on your phone, but I'm not going to show this in this video. That's not really the point of this video. Alright, now that you have it installed, just go through the installation and, you know, just choose the default settings and everything should be fine. Now, we need to install an extension on Anki so that it, you know, recognizes, so that we can actually connect Migaku with Anki. So I'm going to go to Anki. I'm going to click on Tools, Add-ons, Get add-ons, and as you can see here, I already have the Migaku add-on, so I'm not actually going to install it. I'm just going to show you the process. Get add-on, and here it's asking me for a code. It's kind of a weird system. You know, with Anki, you have to install add-ons with codes. So I'm going to go to my browser and go on Google and type Anki Migaku add-on, and it's the first link here. That's what it is. I'm gonna scroll down and copy this code. It's kind of weird that it's like in the middle of the page, but whatever. I'm gonna go to Anki and paste it, and I would click OK if I didn't have it installed already. So there you go. So it's going to install it, and you know, I think it's going to take probably 2 to 3 minutes. And you just wait, and it's going to install it. It's going to ask you to restart Anki, so just, you know, close Anki just like this, and start it back up again, and you should see a pop-up saying welcome to Migaku or something like that, with a bunch of instructions. Again, go through the default settings. There's no trap. Everything should be fine. Once you're done with all that setup, we're finally ready to create flashcards. I know it was a tedious process, but it's time well invested. So I'm going to go back to Netflix, and again, oh yeah, no, actually there's a last step. We need to create a deck. I'm going to say, you know, my Netflix French deck. Okay. And here I have a deck which is empty. It does not have any flashcards because I haven't created any. I'm going to go back to Netflix, and again, just for good measure, reload the page so that the extension actually understands that it's going to detect that you have created a new deck in Anki, and it's going to be able to detect it. So once you have done that and you have chosen the languages, I'm just going to, you know, if you were just to watch the episode right now, I'm not going to click play because I may get into trouble for, you know, sharing that stuff which is on Netflix. But essentially what I would do is I would just watch this, and the sidebar, you know, is going to get scrolled automatically with all the subtitles, and whenever I encounter a phrase with a word that I don't know, I would like to learn this phrase, I'm just going to go on the phrase, and I would just click on this button here, add flashcard. So I'm going to click on it and let you take a look.
Quand tu auras déjeuné, tu devrais la prendre pour aller voir maman et l'emmener.
And there you go. So that's what happens. And so here, so if this is the first time that you're using Migaku, which is, you know, the case for most people, I guess, you're going to see this pop up here, and as you can see, I have a bunch of information. But you need to make sure that you're using the right note type for the sentence that you're trying to learn. So the note type is linked to Anki, and here you need to choose Migaku French. So I'm going to scroll down, and actually I think I do not have it because during the setup I didn't say that I was learning French, which, you know, I'm not learning French, it's my native language, but you would choose the correct note type. Otherwise the information that's here is not going to appear properly. Once you have selected the proper note type, and if you don't see the information appear here yet, you should, you know, as I said, just reload and do the same process again. Now, I know it's tedious, but, you know, Migaku is not a very polished application, but once you go through this initial setup, everything's going to be fine. So you should come back here and see the correct information, the sentence in French, the translation in English, and the screenshot and the sentence audio. Alright, now you need to select the deck as well, the deck in which you want that flashcard to go. So I'm going to go to, I think I created my French deck or something like that. Let me see, my French deck, it's not appearing. I don't know why it's not appearing. Maybe I should reload, but you know what, I'm just going to put it in my Netflix flashcards. That's fine, and I'm going to click on create card. Now I'm going to wait for a few seconds, and it should be creating the card right now. Okay, there you go. And if I go back to Anki, and I'm going to go to my Netflix flashcards, which is the deck from which in which I've created the card, I click on custom study, and surprise, there is one available new card. I wonder what that is. Click OK, study now, and you should see here the sentence in French. Now, unfortunately, there is this annotation here in Japanese because I did not say in Migaku that I'm learning French. So it's taking my setup, which is, I'm learning Japanese and Korean, and it's sort of, putting the French sentence in it, which is not right, but it shouldn't be a problem for you. So I see the sentence in French. Après déjeuner, tu devrais passer prendre maman. And then if I click on show answer,
quand tu auras déjeuné, tu devrais la prendre pour aller voir maman.
There you go, and you see the screenshot and the audio and the translation in English. Now, the problem here, there is a little problem with this, learning French with Netflix, essentially, is that you get the subtitles here in French, but it's not going to always correspond exactly to what they're saying. The meaning is the same, but the order of the words or the way it's formulated, it's not always the same. But still, it's a very, very good way to create flashcards with Netflix. Alright, so that's pretty much it. I've created a flashcard with Anki using Netflix, and it was pretty easy. The setup was a bit tedious, but it's time well invested. Now, the second thing I'm going to show you is how you can actually take movies in French on Netflix, export the audio, and actually the condensed audio, without all the parts where they're not talking, with all the music and all that, and you can export that as an MP3 file, which you can put on your smartphone and just listen to it while you're working out or commuting or whatever it is that you do. So I'm going to go back to the movie on Netflix here, and I'm going to still again here, I don't need the sidebar anymore. I'm going to disable it, and here in the export options, I am going to select condense audio and click on confirm. It's going to tell me, okay, do you really want to create an audio file? Say okay, and that's basically it. It's creating it right now. I'm going to cancel because it's going to play the movie. I don't want that. I don't want to get into trouble with Netflix or YouTube. But there you go. At the end of that, you will get an MP3 file with all the audio in French, and you can listen to this and do some virtual, immersion using that audio file. So that's basically it. We did two things here. We exported the audio and we created flashcards with Netflix to learn French. I hope you liked this video. If so, please leave a like and leave me comments in the comments section to tell me, how I could improve my videos, or if you have questions about what we have just done. And that's pretty much it. I'll see you in the next one.